So you're looking for a dog trainer in Raleigh. And if you've done a quick search, you know it can feel, well, a little overwhelming, right? There are just so many names out there. How do you possibly choose? In this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise. We'll give you a really clear, straightforward plan to find the perfect training partner for you and your dog. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to talk about what life with a dog in a Raleigh actually looks like. Then we'll get into what makes a great trainer. We'll decode the costs, cover the questions you absolutely have to ask, and wrap up with how to use that training in the real world, right here in the city. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about what really matters. We're talking about training for the life you and your dog actually live here in Raleigh. This isn't about learning tricks in a vacuum. It's about building practical, everyday confidence for both of you. I mean, think about it for a second. What do you really want? You want a dog who can walk down a busy downtown sidewalk without pulling. You want to be able to relax on a dog-friendly patio over in North Hills. Or maybe just handle all the joggers and bikes on the Greenway without getting stressed out. A good trainer gets this. They understand these specific Raleigh situations and will prep your dog for them. That's what makes life together so much more fun. All right, so we know the goal. The question is, how do we find the right person to help us get there? Let's look at the core qualities of a really effective trainer. We're going to go way beyond just a simple online search and get into a much more informed way of evaluating who you're hiring. You're going to hear this term a lot, positive reinforcement. It's really the foundation of modern effective training. But what does it actually mean? Well, simply put, it's about rewarding the behavior you want to see. So instead of correcting your dog for jumping up on someone, you'd reward them with a treat the second all four of their paws are on the floor. You're teaching them what you do want, and that's a huge confidence booster that really strengthens your relationship. So when you're looking for a trainer, you'll pretty much run into two main philosophies. On one side, you've got methods that build your dog's confidence. On the other, you have methods that rely on intimidation. Things like shock collars or choke collars might look like they're working quickly, but so often they just create a whole new set of problems, like fear and anxiety. Really, the big takeaway here is to find a trainer who focuses on building that confidence. That's what gets you those real long-term results. Okay, so how can you tell if a trainer is actually committed to these modern positive methods? Well, one of the best ways is to look for their certifications. I know these are a bunch of acronyms, but they're not just random letters. They mean that a trainer has actually studied and passed some pretty tough exams on animal behavior and training ethics. You can think of it like a baseline qualification, which is really important because, and this is a really big deal for every single dog owner in North Carolina. The dog training industry is totally unregulated here. That means, and I mean this literally, anyone can decide to call themselves a professional dog trainer tomorrow. There's no license required. That's exactly why checking for those certifications we just talked about isn't just a nice little bonus. It's pretty much your most important tool for making sure you're getting someone qualified and safe. All right, let's talk money. It's an important part of the decision, right? Understanding the typical costs for training here in Raleigh is going to help you budget and just know what to expect when you start reaching out to people. So here's a look at some typical prices for 2025 in the Raleigh area. You can see group classes are usually the most budget-friendly way to go. Great for general manners. Then you have private lessons, which give you that one-on-one help for very specific issues you might be having. And all the way at the other end, you've got board and train programs. That's where your dog actually lives with the trainer for a few weeks. And that much higher price tag definitely reflects that round-the-clock care and training. And just to put a pin in it, a single private lesson is probably going to fall somewhere in this range. It's a really common way for people to get started with some personalized help. Okay, you've got the background knowledge. Now, this next part is all about action. We're going to give you the exact questions you need to ask any trainer you're considering so you can be a totally informed consumer and feel confident in your choice. Think of this as your interview checklist. First, you're going to ask them straight up about their methods to make sure they're positive and reward-based. Then, you'll ask about the specific certifications like the ones we mentioned. Remember, a good trainer isn't going to have some cookie-cutter plan, so you'll want to ask how they're going to tailor everything to your specific dog's needs. And, of course, you need to know how you're both going to measure success and get total clarity on the costs, what's included, and if there are any other fees. So, once you've picked your trainer and you've started learning some new skills, that's when the real work begins. It's time to take what you've learned and apply it out in the real world, right here in Raleigh. You know, having a well-trained dog also means being a responsible owner who knows the local rules of the road. So just a few quick reminders. In Raleigh, leashes are required in all public areas unless you're in a designated dog park. State law also requires that rabies vaccination to be up to date. And hey, if you live in an apartment, working on that barking is a big part of being a good neighbor.
So, where can you go to put all these new skills to the test? Well, the trails at Umstead State Park are fantastic for practicing loose leash walking. If you want to work on focus around a lot of distractions, bikes, people, even boats, Lake Crabtree is a great spot for that. And if you're building up that recall, doing it in the safety of a fenced-in dog park like Millbrook Exchange is definitely the way to go.
When you boil it all down, this is really the heart of it. The right trainer isn't just an instructor, they're a partner. You want someone who actually listens to your goals, who understands what you're trying to achieve, and who can explain their plan to you in simple terms that just make sense.
Because at the end of the day, all of this training, it's about so much more than just obedience commands. It's about having a happy, confident partner you can truly share your life with. Someone you can explore the city with, who can welcome friends into your home, or just relax with you at the end of a long day. I really hope this helps you find the perfect fit, and I wish you all the best on your training journey together.